As you are aware, Mongolia is a very small country tucked between China and then USSR, now part of that Far East, Kazakhstan, and sandwiched between them, a very beautiful country with very beautiful landscape.
The film that is going to be showcased just after we finish these formalities is something that was commercially successful, yet it also hit the right chord of people who are film buffs. Cinema is something that can teach, that can inform, and that can communicate. And through cinema, it's a wonderful world that opens up.
It is my great honor and privilege to welcome you all to the Mongolian Film Festival in Kolkata, an event that celebrates the vibrant culture, history, and storytelling tradition of Mongolia through the powerful medium of cinema. This event has great importance as we are currently celebrating this year as the 70th glorious year of establishment of diplomatic relationship between India and Mongolia.
Welcome to Kolkata, the city of joy and city of culture. Firstly, tell me, how does it feel to be here in Kolkata?
Okay, I'm happy to be back in Kolkata because the West Bengal culture, it fascinates me. And of course, the Kolkata is a city of joy and the birthplace of Rabindranath Tagore. It's very close to hearts of Mongolians because from the very young age, in a secondary high school, the school program involves Rabindranath Tagore's teachings, his publications. So I'm always happy to be back to Kolkata, especially when we have such a wonderful honorary consul. I'm always happy to be back in Kolkata.
You mentioned one of the films was successful from Mongolia, was successfully commercially released in US.
Yes.
And Oscar nominees. If you could talk about those.
Yes. For the last, since 90s, Mongolia opened up to the international world. Before that we were closed. Under the Eastern Bloc of communist regime. So after that, our film industry, evolved and developed very rapidly. And there are a couple of films that was nominated to Oscar as well as Cannes as well as the Berlin Festival, and even some of them won the certain prizes. So mostly those movies about our history, about the nomadic style of life, and of course the modern way, because imagine the nomadic style of living, and they facing the, let's say, obstacles in certain way, and when they get to the urban, westernized world. So most of the movies reflect this kind of aspect, and of course there is some, let's say, adventure gaining, but at the same time there is some lose of our, the peculiarity, Mongolian nomadic style of life. So we trying to reflect those changes that our people, our culture is affected by the so-called urban lifestyle. So most of the movies are about this clash of the nomadic as well as the urban living standards.
So you mentioned there will be incentives of the filmmakers coming from India to making films, and if you could elaborate more on that.
Yes, the government of Mongolia started from the last year, created these incentives to bring more foreign countries to be involved in the Mongolian film industry. Our film industry is mainly based on the private sector, so there are a lot of private companies who are doing film movies and documentaries, also the thrillers, romance, you name it. So the government, in order to attract foreign film industry corporation, come up with a plan that it will reimburse up to 50% of all your expenses you spend in Mongolia shooting movie or documentary or content, any content. So it will 30% of it will go reimbursed if you take your shoot content or movie or series in Mongolia on the whole territory of Mongolia. So plus 10% if you involve the local actor or local film company, let's say, and the plus 10% if it is related to our history, nomadic life of life, as well as is involved in our bilateral relations. So in totally overall, out of the 100% of your all expenses you spend in Mongolia on doing content, shooting movies purely in Mongolia, up to 50% will be reimbursed back to you. So by doing this, our government is hopes that to first of all attract foreign tourists. Also, we'd like to advertise our cultural history. We believe the nomadic culture as well as history, heritage, civilization is can bring a lot to the world. So that's how we're trying to bring our nomadic style, culture, history to the world.
And the last question, sir, this is the 78 years of Indo-Mongolian
Yes.
relationship.
Yes, as I said, the Mongolia and India, we have long history. It's very rich history related to cultural history. As I said, we call each other spiritual neighbors because our ancestors used to overcome Himalayas by barefoot to reach each other. And of course, there are a lot of exchanges, especially in the education aspect. There are evidence showing that the Mongols used to come to study in Nalanda University, which is more than 2,000 years ago. Of course, our contemporaries started in 1955 when we signed established diplomatic relations, and since that we developed in our bilateral relations very slow motion. But after the 90s, when Mongolia became a democratic country, our bilateral relations is booming now, and especially since the appointment of the late Ambassador Khrushchev Bakula as ambassador to Mongolia, our spiritual connectivity, our Buddhist relations is started growing. And since the historic visit of the Prime Minister Modi ji to Mongolia in 2015, our bilateral relations brought into a new level, the level of strategic partnership. And this gives our a lot of opportunity to develop our bilateral relations, especially in economic areas. And now we're building the oil refinery as well as the IT Center of Excellence outsourcing. There are a lot of projects is going on, and of course in the future we have a lot of projects and joint activities involved in cultural, education, health, tourism, agriculture. The opportunities there, and I believe the movie industry can do benefit from it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.